Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning, good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And if you know anything about me, you know that I think that being active on LinkedIn and having a fabulous LinkedIn profile is critical. So that's why we dedicate an entire month every year to just LinkedIn guests. And I am so thrilled with my first guest because he is a LinkedIn expert. He's my good buddy. He's a brother from another mother, but he is a LinkedIn expert. And we've had him on several times. So please join me in welcoming Brian Basilico back to our program again. Hey, dude, how are you?
I want the applause machine.
I know. I need to buy one of those.
Yes. So, well, thank you for having me so much. I mean, I appreciate coming back on, and it's always fun talking to you. And there's always, the one thing about life and social media and LinkedIn is nothing ever changes. It's always the same.
It's always the same. There's never you log in, nothing's changed, nothing's moved, and it's funny because I when I was thinking about the program and for the month and how to put it together, I thought, there are these little ninja tricks that people don't know about or that they add. And so that's what we want to be talking about. So let me tell people just a smidge about you, and then we will dive into this. So Brian Basilico is an award-winning author of the best-selling book, It's Not About You, It's About Bacon, Relationship Marketing in a Social Media World. And for those of you who are watching, he is being Vanna with it. Is he being Vanna? No, you're not being Vanna. He was honored as one of the top marketers to follow in 2018. Brian is an online marketing strategist who brings over 40 years of marketing experience to his award-winning internet marketing company, B2B Interactive Marketing, Inc. Brian is a syndicated blogger, podcaster, and a sought-after guest expert featured in Entrepreneur and Inc. magazines. His show, The Bacon Podcast, on iTunes was also voted one of Inc. magazine's top 35 business podcasts. Applause, applause, applause. And normally, at this point in the program, I ask my guests to tell us how they got to where they are today. We don't care. And that's all right. We know how you got here. But because we have so much to talk about, we need to just delve into this. So, here we go. Deep dive. Ninja tricks. What do I want to talk about first? How about creator mode? What the heck is creator mode? Okay.
Actually, I want to back up because I had to unplug this thing for those of you who are not watching.
It's a phone.
It's a telephone. It's a real phone. And I had to unplug it because people are constantly calling me trying to tell me about my car warranty. And one of the things about LinkedIn I think everybody has to understand is LinkedIn has become the go-to B2B business place, right? And the thing that you see is and one of the things, first thing I want to do is kind of differentiate between LinkedIn and Facebook. So Facebook is the fun party place, and LinkedIn is kind of the stodgy business place, although some people try to kind of edge it that way. But the bottom line is this telephone is what everybody's trying to do. They're trying to turn LinkedIn into the new frontier of cold calling.
Right.
Hence why you and I both post these things. Mine's called the LinkedIn Connect and Pitch of the Week. And the LinkedIn Connect and Pitch of the Week today was a woman who said, "Hey, Brian, thanks for connecting with me. I looked at your profile and I think you are the perfect person that we could turn into a franchise. You could buy a franchise from us, and we think that you're going to be really good for it." And of course, it's no different than the cold calls that you get, right? It's a cold call. And that's what they do is they prospect on there. They think they're prospecting, but really what they're doing is cold calling. If they really looked at my profile, they would notice I run my own company and I really am not in a position to want to get a franchise, right? So they never looked at that. It's just this generic stuff. So before we get into the ninja tricks, I always like to talk about the why. And the why is you have one purpose on LinkedIn, and that is to sell yourself and your business, right? And so what we try to do is optimize what people see because we all live in a short attention span theater. And the one thing I'm going to tell you is, oh, by the way, I didn't mention this when I finished up my, I have to get back on my soapbox to tell you that I responded to that woman. I said, I am 100% interested in what you've got. I only charge $5,000 for a discovery call. You want to book one? You know? And it's like, you know, that it's like you got to find a way to have fun with this, right? And let them know that, hey, I'm on to you and that kind of stuff and not be rude because, you know, we've gotten to that point too, is you get hit up with these things all the time. Everybody wants to connect with you. India, for me, you know, it's like, yes, we do SEO. We can do all this SEO for you.
My
you know?
favorites are we can get you on a podcast. Really?
Right.
I just recorded episode 750 something.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, they never look at it. So, but the key thing is that when you sit down and look at it, and why I brought the telephone out is because, you know, what social, I want to define the difference between social networking and social media. Social media is advertising. You're putting out content to get people's attention. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But the whole concept of the profile is to get a phone call. Right? Now, that phone call today can be a Zoom, it can be a text, it can be a direct message. But the bottom line is what we're trying to do is create some kind of relational thing. And that's what we want to do. So you want to talk to people that can help you in your business. You want to talk to prospects. You want to talk to people that have something, somehow there's going to be a mutual benefit in this, right? I mean, you wouldn't work with a client just to take their money and run. You would work with a client to give them value. And it's the same thing. You're looking for people of value, right? I mean, you're looking for people that can connect you with other people. You're looking for vendors, in my case. You know, if I need a specific skill set that I don't have, I can go online and look at those people and say, who do they know? Who are they connected to? Do they know Deb? Has Deb been on the podcast? So that when you look at it through that lens, and don't look at it from the social media lens, then everything that we're going to talk about today is going to make a lot more sense on how you do it. Because I can tell you the ninja tricks,
right?
But the ninja tricks are often misused, and we'll talk about that.
Right.
So go ahead. Now it's your turn.
You know, one of the things that I wanted. I'm going to back us up again. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And say, you know, one of the most important things that you mentioned, there was that little word in there. You said relationship.
Yep.
And I don't care if you're using ninja tricks. I don't care if you're on LinkedIn to get a job, to make connections, all of those things. It is about building that relationship. You know, we often say things like, you know, you wouldn't walk up to somebody at a bar and say, hey, let's get married. You know, you build relationships with them. And the same
maybe
thing
if it was
goes
Jennifer Aniston, I might.
Yeah, I know. You know, I don't know who I'd pick. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things where we all know it. We work with people we know, we like, we trust. And part of that comes from when we initially look at someone's profile, we look at it and go, oh, okay, seems like an interesting person. Might know some of the same people, have some skills I'm interested in. They volunteered at things like that. So that's kind of that initial. But then it is about developing that relationship with them, you know, and you know, when you talk about your connect and pitch, those are the people who they send us a request to connect. We might accidentally connect with them, right? Because I'm getting pretty strategic on this, but you know, and then the second we connect, they have an auto responder that says, "Hey, Brian, here's the thing I'd like to sell you today." You know, and you know, it's so sleazy that it doesn't matter what they do. They might be the greatest in the world, but I'm already turned off. You know, and so it is about building those relationships with people.
Yes, and we could do a whole thing about, you know, the buyer's journey and how all this stuff works. And let me just say one thing: the difference between really quality business and what most people are using LinkedIn. And when I say most people, the reason I say this because a lot of quote unquote gurus, okay, there's a lot of LinkedIn gurus in their 30s. You know, I've been using LinkedIn. I was one of the first 1,000 people since 2004, and that was before this showed up, right? Layla,
right. Yeah.
the phone. I showed a picture of my dog for those of you listening. But the thing is that what they're doing is they can't get people on the phone. The reason they can't get people on the phone is because everybody's calling about their car warranties, and if they don't recognize the number, they won't pick up, right? So salespeople have to find a way to do something. And so they're using this to replace what they couldn't do before. Cold email doesn't work because nobody answers it. If you don't know the person, you won't do it. So this way, if you hit people up, and sooner or later, if you put out, if you connect with 30,000 people and you broadcast every single one of them, 3,000 of the people might open it, 300 of those people might respond, and 30 of those people might have a conversation, and 3 of those people will buy. But think of all the time you have to go to get to those 3 sales.
Right.
When the things that we're going to talk about today is through relationships, you can actually make those sales happen quicker and better. Because I go to Deb and I say, hey, Deb, I've got this new thing that I'm doing. I just want to kind of share it with you. Let me show you the way that I'm doing things on LinkedIn. And you say, oh, that's really cool. I want to have you on my podcast. And then now I'm on your podcast. Somebody listened to this and says, hey, what he's showing me is resonating. I want to connect with him. So through that whole relational side of things, that's how we get quality business. It's through referrals, right? Which takes a personal relationship to start with. So, yep, there we go.
Now one of the things, and we of course have our ninja list, but as you were saying that, I just thought of something. You go in every day and reach out to 10 people, right?
Yes, I call it the
10-10-10.
10-10-10.
And so it's your 10-10-10 rule. So that's a great ninja trick. So let's start with that.
Yeah. So the 10-10-10 thing is you take 10 people, 10 minutes, 10 words. All right. And again, LinkedIn is one of those. What I do is I connect up with, I have a list of 1,500 people in my CRM. I pick the 150 that I want to communicate with every single month. This is my top 150, depending on what's going on. And then I try to take 10 of those people and figure out, do they like text? Do they like email? Do they like phone call? Do they like smoke signals? Do they like LinkedIn messages? So I pick those 10 that day and I reach out and say, how are you doing? And how can I help you? Now, sometimes that how are you doing is just a happy birthday. It's like if they have a birthday and LinkedIn says they have it, even on Facebook, I'm reaching at least 10 people within that list every single day. And the reason I call it the 10-10-10, 10 people, 10 words, 10 minutes. Literally takes a minute to reach out to those 10 people. Do I get a response back from all 10? No. I'm lucky if I get one, but it doesn't matter. It makes you top of mind. It's saying, I am recognizing you, and that's all that matters. And if you don't respond, that's cool. That's okay.
And I love the how can I help you? Because it's not, here's what I want to sell you.
Right. Yes, and that's exactly it, is, what's in it for them. Everybody's, one of my baconisms, and I call them baconisms because they're, the things that I say in my presentations. One of the baconisms is we're all living in a short attention span theater. But the second thing is in that short attention span theater, everybody is tuned into the radio station WII-FM. We are all broadcasting on WII-AM, which stands for What is Interesting About Me. And you see this on Facebook and LinkedIn all the time. It's called the Talking Head Video. Let me tell you about my day. And I was looking at the sky, and the sky is blue. And blue may be the way that you're feeling, but if you need a life coach, I can help you turn your blue to green and help you make money. So contact me. Right? I mean, that's what everybody does in these videos, and that'll get into when we talk about the video on your profile. Here's an example of what you should not do. Right? That's WII-AM. WII-FM is, hey, and this goes deep into what we're going to talk about with content creator mode and all these other things, is what you need to do is say, hey, I know that there's a problem right now, and there are two major problems in the business world right now. Number one is supply chain issues, and the second one is personnel issues. Those are the two biggest things facing people.
Right.
Having a remote workforce, people that want to work from home, that want to start at 5 in the morning and work till noon, and then take the afternoon off and start at 6 and work till midnight, that may or may not work for your business, but guess what? That's what people want. So how do you tailor your business so that those people can live their life and you can get the quality work from them? And if you have an answer to that, or if you've got some suggestions, or you've experienced something, like I just went through buying a house, and having to go through relationships in different parts of the country that I don't know, and I don't live there, and I can't communicate, right? You listen to experts, you reach out to people, you talk to your friends. And that's what creating content is about, is you're talking to them about the problem that they're having, and they're paying attention to it and listening to you. And that's really the key, just like this podcast.
Yeah. It's kind of like the old, home improvement show where, the two guys talked across the fence. All they were doing was helping each other with their problems. You didn't have to see each other, right? We never saw the one guy. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he always had fun hats, right?
Yep.
But yeah, it was just, it was kind of that give and take. And we saw that they had such a deep friendship because of it. Are we going to have that with all of our business connections? Absolutely not. We don't have that many hours in the day. But what we want is for people to go, oh, I need to talk to somebody about LinkedIn for my sales teams. Oh my God, I need to call Brian Basilico.
Right, exactly. Yep.
And
so with that being said, let me go ahead and do this. And for those of you who are on the video, you'll see my screen, and I will try to make sure that I talk it through for those people listening on the podcast. But I'm going to share my screen.
Sure.
And here we go. So now you can see that I have my LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is open, correct? So you can see that okay? Okay. So, yeah, based on what we're talking about, let's kind of dive into some of this stuff. Okay. So the first thing, what we're going to talk about is your profile, but there's other things that you can do with it too. So what I'm doing is I'm clicking on my profile here, and this brings me up to me. So we're going to cover a whole bunch of different things that are available to pretty much everybody. If you don't have these, don't worry about it. LinkedIn is, sometimes it rolls it out to everybody, but those of us who have been using it longer, who use it every single day.
We're kind of on the higher list.
Yeah, we're on the higher list because we're engaged, It's like, so one of the first things I want to talk about is something called content creator mode. And if you take a look and you scroll down, you're looking at the top of your profile, you'll see that there's a banner at the top. There's your picture. We'll cover those things. There's some other things like pronunciation and the pronoun, and there's a ton of things there. But I want to start with content creator mode. And you'll notice it's under resources and it says private to you. And so if you click on creator mode, you're either going to have it off or on. All right. When you turn it on, it should give you capability for two different things.
Right.
And the two different things are LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn Newsletters. Those are the ones that they show you, but there's a whole bunch of other ones that are available too, which we'll cover later. But creator mode, let me explain why they have creator mode. The reason they have creator mode is because LinkedIn is built around trying to get more engagement on their platform. People generally show up to Facebook about 20 to 25 minutes a day. On LinkedIn, they're lucky if they get 15 minutes a week.
But you can do that.
Yeah. And the reason that it's that way is because, people don't go to LinkedIn to consume funny cat videos. They don't go there like TikTok to watch things. They're going there with a specific purpose. A lot of time it's to network, it's to meet people, it's to find a job, it's something along that lines. And one of the things that LinkedIn is hungry for, has spent a lot of time developing, is creator mode, because they want people to create more quality content. That people are going to pay attention to and spend more time on the platform, and since LinkedIn is unlike most other social media networks, they make 75% of their money on using jobs as the platform's funding, and they make only about 20%, so 75% on jobs, 20% on their premium services like Sales Navigator and all that fun stuff. We could talk about that later, and only 5% on advertising.
Right.
So, and I do ads for my clients on there. It's not cheap, but it's really effective. But the key thing is they're not, the other places, basically, they're trying to make money on ads. They want to collect data on you, and then they're going to turn around and sell that data to somebody else, and they make all their monies on ads. Now, LinkedIn does collect data on you, but what they're using that for is to get you to engage with people more. That's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to sell you ads. So that's one of the reasons why LinkedIn is such a unique platform and so useful for business. So content creator mode or creator tools is there to help you create great content and share that with your audience. But the thing I think everybody has to understand is you have to define what great content is, right? I mean, I think that's one of the first things we got to talk about.
Right.
So,
and I think the key to that is as you said, what is great content? Is it what I want to say, or is it what people want to read?
Exactly. And that's when I went into the sky is blue, my personal business coach. Most people don't care. They really don't. Unless they happen to be in the mode for a personal business coach and they're trying to, research 100,000 of them. You going up there and talking about the sky is blue is not going to get them convinced that they need a coach, right? The way that you do that is you sit and say, a lot of clients have a mindset issue, and the mindset issue is that they think that they have problem A, but they really have problem B. Do you feel that way, right? And then you kind of build upon that and slowly kind of guide them through the process of saying, yeah, I have that problem. Yeah, I have that problem. Ooh, that's a kind of a cool way to do things. Oh, that's cool. And it's called the customer journey. So great content leads them through that. If you sit down and look at content creation in general, I always break it down to 3 core things. And the 3 core things is you have your awareness content. Those are people who don't know, like, and trust you yet, and now all of a sudden find out about you. Some people think those talking head videos are awareness content. No, they're going right for the jugular and going right to sales, right? The second piece is the education. And so I'm aware of you. I put up things with bacon. I put up quotes. I put up, all kinds of different things that just get people's attentions. Like, who's this dude? And wow, that's a really good quote that, businesses do not do business with other businesses. People do business with people. I agree with that. That's really cool. Let me look at his profile. That's the whole point. You want people to see your content and get back to your profile, connect with you, and not try to sell you a franchise, right?
Or a car warranty. I had one. I actually had one of those on LinkedIn. I'm like, really? Seriously? So, but yeah.
Hey, it must work if they're doing it, right?
Oh yeah,
somebody's buying.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Is like spam. It's working because somebody falls for it.
Right.
So we've turned on content creator, and the important thing, and that is available to everyone. You just have. Well, I shouldn't say that. It might not be. I mean, it might still be one of those things that
to most everybody at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't have it, be patient. It will come to you. But if you don't have it, start being more active. As Brian said, LinkedIn rewards the people who use LinkedIn. So really start being more active, and then they're going to go, ooh, let's help this person be even more active. And so we're going to give you content creator. So you turn that on. And to me, one of the biggest ninja tricks, and I learned this from you, was the LinkedIn newsletter. And you have to have content creator turned on to have this. So let's talk about LinkedIn newsletters, because holy cow, knock it out of the ballpark. This is one of the greatest things that I think they could have done. So tell us more about this.
I will tell you more about it, but again, I like to get into the philosophy and the history before everybody jumps on and just makes a newsletter, because that's part of the problem. Is if you're going to do a LinkedIn newsletter, it has to have 3 things in it. Number 1, it has to have your direct audience in mind. The second thing, it has to be consistent. And the third, it has to be something that your audience is going to engage with, because the audience needs to subscribe in order to get the benefits, right? So if you provide great content, if you go on there and just do a 3-word post you're probably not going to get a lot of things.
No.
If you put up salesy, hey, we're having a Zoom meeting, our LinkedIn newsletter is, here's the 50 things that we're doing this week. We're having a Zoom meeting, we're cutting our toenails, all those things. It has to be focused. It has to be to the point. And generally, I recommend that everybody does it once a week, right?
Right.
So if I was to go to my content section, and I actually create, in the featured section, I have one featured post, and I want people to click on that. It's the very first thing that's up there. And they click on it, and what they do is they get to my newsletter. So the newsletter is created. What it is it's, in my case, it's called CBS, which stands for Central Bacon Studios presents Bacon Weekly from B2B on B2B marketing, right? So that is, the newsletter is meant to be something that is designed to give people a weekly update. You don't want to do it every single day. People won't see it. And there's a couple of reasons we'll talk about that too, but I think weekly is the best way to do it. Now, what happens is you start the newsletter, you put something up, you put the first thing up, and what it does is it immediately notifies people in your zone of influence, in other words, people that are first level connections to you, that, hey, Deb Creer just created a newsletter. You might want to subscribe. Right. You might want to subscribe. So what happened, Deb, when you set that up the first week? How many people did you have subscribed to your newsletter?
So the first week, the first one I did was January 7th. And I decided, now here's one of the things, folks, you can only have one.
Right.
So you need to pick what you're doing. And so I picked my newsletter to be for the Business Power Hour because I thought this is a great way to get the word out there about that. You can do other articles and things, but you can only have one newsletter.
Right.
And so I did my first one, as I said, back January 7th. I thought, let's start at the year. That way it's easy to track these things. And I think I must have had several hundred within like the first couple days. And I was like, holy schmoly. And all it is a recap. So I send it out on Fridays. It's a recap of the 2 programs that went live that week.
Yep.
Simple, easy peasy. With links, obviously, to listen.
Right. Back to your point of only having one. A lot of businesses, you can do it as a business, you can do it for your business page, or you can do it as your personal profile. The key thing I try to tell businesses is do not do it on your business page, because generally speaking, the average business page has about 250 followers.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, the average business person has upwards of 1,000. In your case and mine, it's about 5. There are other people that try to collect them like, Pokemons and have 30,000, but doesn't mean that if you have 30,000 people that you're connected to, that they're all going to subscribe, especially if you're not posting content on a regular basis and they don't know, like, and trust you, right? So you got a few hundred. I got a few hundred the first week. Now, after, 2.5 months, I'm up to 1,000 subscribers.
I'm up to 746.
Yeah. So, and I had somebody else that I set up a couple of weeks ago. He was at 1,000 subscribers within a week.
Wow.
Because he had that many people, yes. So, but so now the ninja trick comes with this, the handful of things. The way that I use those is all I do is every single week I write a blog, every single week I do a podcast, and I'm always writing it within mind of who is my perfect audience. Well, my perfect audience is sitting up here on LinkedIn. So I write and produce material for LinkedIn. So it goes on my blog, it goes on my podcast. And then I have a virtual assistant. This is, again, a ninja trick. A virtual assistant who posts my blog for me because she has to proofread it because my nickname is Captain Typo. See the cape? So she proofreads it and she posts my blog and then she copies my blog and she goes in and puts it up as a newsletter. And you're saying, well, dude, doesn't the internet ding you because you're putting the same content up 2 places? No, because the thing about LinkedIn, it's a closed loop system. It is not the content you're publishing here is not going on Google and getting indexed. Okay. It's strictly for the people inside of LinkedIn. So the key thing is that I'm taking that same content that I've already produced, so I'm not rewriting anything, and I'm putting it on my page. And then right at the top of the page, or somewhere close to the top of the page, for those of you who can see it, there is a call to action.
Right.
And that call to action is get our ebook. All right. And if somebody clicks on that, it basically is going to recap what's in this particular post plus other posts that will come in the future. The thing that this does is this actually sends them to my website, and I capture their name and email address, and I can add them to an email drip. So it actually gives me the ability to figure out who is reading my content and who is interested in it. And they may be really good contacts. The thing that you don't know when you put up a newsletter is, are they a first level or second level connection? I always check every single one that comes in. Am I connected to this person? If I am, awesome. If I'm not, I go connect with them and I say, hey, thanks for downloading my ebook. And I don't say, hey, if you want to set up a profile call, I'll tell you all about what I'm doing. I just say thanks. In other words, how can I help you has already been done. They download the ebook. They download it for that reason. So all I'm saying is, how are you doing? That's it. And that's how I connect with them. So that's one of the benefits. Now here comes ninja trick number 2. Ninja trick number 2 on this one is LinkedIn, on your behalf, emails everybody who is subscribed to your newsletter when it goes live.
And they don't have to be first-degree connections to be a subscriber. That's one of the cool things about this. So people who you have never connected with have said, hey, I want your content.
Right. Exactly. So by doing that, what LinkedIn is doing is sending an email to everybody who's subscribed to your thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have b2b-im.com. The deliverability on my own personal email, on my Aweber and ActiveCampaign accounts, any other email that you use, is moderate at best. This deliverability, even in Gmail, is 100%. I mean, it's darn near 100% because it's coming from LinkedIn, right? So more people are going to see that. And what it does is when they get that, even they're not logging in, remember that's 17, 15 minutes a week, a lot of people will click on that and either read it in there or they'll click on it to go back to LinkedIn to comment, because that's how they have to do it. So they go back and like it, they go back and comment. It creates an amazing amount of interaction. And as you said, first level, second level, I don't know if third level, I haven't gotten a third level, but maybe third level can connect to this. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but the ninja trick is that, number one, you're repurposing your content on a format. It's emailing them, alerting them. They're logging back in, interacting with you. The thing that you've got to understand about the algorithms and social media is the more the people interact with you, the more they see your stuff, right? So if you're posting other things the rest of the week, like a podcast, like a blog, like, Baconism and those kind of things, it shows up in their feed more. So if they've gone to this, downloaded your book, they're interested in who you are, they're going to see more of your stuff on LinkedIn, and this is what I get and you get too. It's like, oh my God, you're everywhere, right?
Right. Well, and one of the cool things is LinkedIn also gives you some minimal stats about what's going on with it. So I'm looking at my most recent one that I sent out last week for the Business Power Hour. It got 5 reactions, 1 comment. Now, the average post that someone does, you're doing good if like 5-10 people see it, right?
Right.
For this one, 398 article views. So they clicked on the link to actually look at the article. 398 people. Why are we not doing this more? But I can definitely see, part of that. That's why LinkedIn only lets you do it for 1. They're not letting you have 900 of these newsletters that you're just bombarding people with. But yeah, so you've got great stats too.
Yeah, and my stats are showing that I had 603 article views, 7 people from different, it says 7 views at B2B Interactive Marketing. I don't know why it says that. But it tells me financial specialist, salesperson, consultant. It tells me greater Chicago area, and then 9 from Raleigh, which is, good for me. Phoenix, so you can actually see where people are doing this. And so those stats are priceless. I mean, at least it tells you that people all over the country are seeing it. So it really extends your reach.
A quick question. So it shows you who is subscribed, actually shows you who they are.
Yep.
Do you go into the second degree folks and send them a request to connect?
Only I go look at them. So here, this answers our question. Okay. Remote private
there
company.
There is a third. Okay.
Yeah, there's a third level connection. But it really depends on, who they are and whether they're a good fit for me.
So if it looks interesting, then you can send them a note and say,
right.
Thank you so much for subscribing to my newsletter. I'd love to connect with you.
Right. So, for example, here's Patty D. I'm going to look at Patty. She lives in Geneva, and then I can go look at what she does. And, she's an artist. And she may be a good connection if I'm looking for an artist, right? And she was president of Image Awards, and so that's somebody that I know. Through networking, it's like, hey, Patty, good to connect with you. I haven't talked to her in years, so this will be one. I will go in for those watching. I go in here, and I say, connect. So I got to connect. It happens in different places on different things, and I always add a note, and I say. Hey, Patty.
And always add a note, folks.
Right, always. Hey, Patty.
Do not just send a request to connect unless you're sitting like across a table from somebody.
Right. Okay, so I'm typing, thanks for subscribing. Captain Typo has issues. Thanks for subscribing to my newsletter. Hope all is well. Well, and let's connect here.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Right.
In
so
fact, you can even have that as a cut and paste where you just, change the person's name.
Right. So all I said was, hey, Patty, thanks for subscribing to my newsletter. Hope all is well, and let's connect. Boom. And I hit send. So now I've sent her a connection request. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Now that we're connected, if she does accept it as a first level connection, and she will see more of the things going on. Will she be, as an artist, I don't necessarily am going to sell her anything, but she may have some skills that I could use in my business, and it's good to know.
Or who she knows.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. So that's the whole point behind this, is it allows you to create better relationships. So I think that's a pretty good, I think we've kind of given a good example of why newsletters are so cool.
Right. So another feature of creator mode is that you can turn your profile picture into a video. And it's a little tricky. You can only upload the video from your smartphone. And so, it gets a little bit tricky. But show us yours, and folks should be able to hear it on the broadcast. But show us what happens.
Yeah, so I haven't set it up. So let me unshare.
Okay, go to mine. Actually, go to my profile because I've set mine up.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll show mine, and people won't hear it because I don't have the audio coming out of it.
Oh, okay, yes.
But I can do, if I stop share, let me just do this real quick. This is easy. So I'll just do share screen, and I will do it again. I'll optimize share sound and optimize video file. So now
all these, you can tell that Brian was an audio guy in another life, right?
Yes. So now when I click on this, so now participants can see and hear this. You should be able to hear it, and let me know if you can't. Deb, I'm just going to click on it here. Okay, and it says view.
And so somebody clicks on your profile picture, this is what happens.
Right. And so I'm going to click on it. If I hold it down, I think it should play. Let me see if it does it. Well, for me, it's asking me to view and edit profile photo. So there's my photo. And I might have to do yours. Let me just go to you. Okay. I'll do it that way. Okay, because it's it's asking me to edit mine. So let me go to Deb Career. Okay, all right. There we go. Deborah.
There I
am.
Yes. Deborah.
Deborah. So now I can click on yours, and the nice thing is I see this little blue dot that says you're online. So there you are. So if I click it, it'll bring it up.
LinkedIn is the best possible way to show off your personal brand. Unfortunately, we all get caught up in promoting our businesses and forget that we need to also promote ourselves. It's important to create a commanding online brand and a presence that gets you noticed. Long gone are the days when LinkedIn was used to get a new job. Now it's a perfect way to be a thought leader and build strategic relationships. Contact me to find out how. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it's very, very cool. So that's Deb's version. If you want to see mine, go to my profile and check it out. But her head is moving on there. It's so cool. It's like your head's moving. It's like talking to me. So that's a bonus. Now, again, going back to what we said before is, number one, do not, whatever you do, try to be pitchy, salesy. Right. Just say, hey, I'm here for you, connect with me if I can be of assistance. That's it. Right. Again, what's in it for them? Always think about that. Right. The other things that we have up here is, since we're looking at Deb's, I can show off a couple other things that are in here too. We have the pronunciation.
How I pronounce my name. Yes.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to click on that, and
I'm Deb Creer, and I would like to connect you with the knowledge, resources, and people to make you as successful as possible.
Ooh, you've used the entire amount of audio
did.
space to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. That's great. I love it.
And so what LinkedIn did, the purpose of that, and it's a little micro or speaker, I guess, next to someone's name. And initially, it was so that you could say, "This is how to say my name," because
you've never ever been called Deb Crier.
I've never been called Crier, right?
Yeah.
But they give you 10 seconds.
Right.
So why not use that 10 seconds to do a tiny little elevator pitch? Again, don't be salesy, but you've got 10 seconds there that you can say, "Hey, how are you?" Right.
So you have 30 seconds on your video, you have 10 seconds on that, and then the last thing you have is the pronoun, which is she or her. And in your sense, that makes, it's pretty obvious that you're a she or her, and, I'm a he or him.
And you don't have to put it in for people
Right, you don't have to, yeah. There's some people that get triggered by that. It's like, I can tell you're a guy, It's like, but, and it's completely up to you. But, there are certain cases where it makes sense, right?
And it's funny. I had a discussion with somebody about that because I said the exact same thing. People should recognize I'm a she, her. And they said their impression was you put it there to show that you're accepting of someone else who might put they or one of the other ones. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. You're gonna get the both sides of, this is just life in the internet world, is you're gonna get the people that appreciate it and you're gonna get the people that are triggered by it. I know,
and I've seen people put human. Okay.
Yeah.
That's better than alien or something like that.
I don't disagree, because aliens eat brains, and I don't want my brains eaten. Yeah, I don't want my brains eaten.
We've also got another little thing so that when we're here that I really like, because one of the things that people have said to me is, "Oh my God, I only have 28 hours every day. I can't be on LinkedIn." But I don't want to miss posts from XYZ. Right. So when you are looking at someone's profile, there is a little bell. And when you click the little bell, what happens is, and you hadn't clicked mine, I am offended.
No.
What it does is anytime that person posts, you receive a notification. And you get it on your smartphone, you get it, depending on how you've got all your notifications set up. So if I want to make sure that I always respond to, say, Brian, I can set that. So I'm not having to go to his profile every day. I can just go, "Oh, hey, Brian just did this post. I'm going to respond. I'm done." And so don't get carried away with this. Don't go through and click like 500 people because your phone is going to, fry itself.
It'll go nuts. Right.
But figure out maybe the top 5 or 10 people that you absolutely want to see their posts for and click the little bell.
Exactly. And let me go back and say a couple of things based on what you just said. Number one, your bell has been rung before, but I turned it off. And the reason it was turned off is because this month, in the month of March, you were not in my 150 that I wanted to connect with. Remember the 10-10-10? Okay. So the 10-10-10 is I go through LinkedIn on those 150 people. I look up their profile and I click them so I could see their stuff more. And so I can engage with them and do the things. And I knew I didn't have to engage with you as much because we're in a mastermind and I was going to be on your podcast, and I still see your stuff anyways on Facebook. So, that's it. That's the 150. If you've got that 10-10-10, go in and find everybody in your 10-10-10, your 150 that you want to connect with, and turn that bell on. And that way you'll see them, they'll say you, if you engage with them, now you're doing, again, that could be one of the 10, right? It's just somebody posts something, you go and congratulations on your new position. Oh, I love this concept. Or, I disagree with you, but here's my take on it. Whatever you want to do, that's still engaging with those people. It's still creating that top of mind awareness. So every single month when you, figure out who the people you want to stay in touch with that month, and it changes every month for me. Some people are consistent. People I've been nurturing for a long time. There's others that I just drop off and add new ones, and that's just the way it is. But
and that's
I have to limit it.
That's the way we are with business relationships, no matter what.
Right. Yeah. So it's a great feature just for that. It adds value to that 10-10-10.
Right. Okay. You can unclick me now.
I'll unclick you. Well, I'll leave you on for now because we're here. That's fine. So doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I love that because it really does. I get a notification on my phone. All these various things. So looking at our, at my profile, at your profile, whichever one we want to do, there's a couple other things. I always tell people more. You have to have more. I had someone today ask me to review a profile. And first of all, their headline was their job title. Bad. And not only that, I did not even know what it meant.
Right.
And so, use that job title. Make it is called your professional headline for a reason. And for those of you who still remember that we used to read these things called newspapers, they had headlines. So do that. Make sure that headline is something that catches people's attention. So what are some other ninja tricks just right here when we're glancing at things?
Well, I'm gonna do a review of yours, and I'm gonna tell everybody because and let me give a hint to everybody. If you just go to Deb's podcast and go to the Business Power Hour and search, we've talked about this before, and listen to some of the things that we mentioned because we get into it a lot more detail. So go back and listen to one of my episodes with Deb because that way she gets more hits and is happier. Yes. So anyways, but the key thing here is the first thing you do, and I always tell everybody there are three things that you should have in here. Who do you serve? What do you do? And how do you serve them? Right? So the first thing you say is helping C-level execs optimize the use of their LinkedIn. So that is who you help and what do you do, right? And then you go through and say, how do you help them? An unabashed connector, brimming with info and knowledge and resources, strategic relationship builder, podcaster, survivor. I know what kind of survivor. You were not on the show survivor. You had medical issues and you've survived time and time again. You're a college sports fan and you're curious. I like that. Read on. So you've done so many good things here. Number one, you've given people in a very short space. I mean, you have about 200 characters to play with here. You've given them a reason to want to connect with you. College sports fan. You don't look like a college sports fan. You don't say what kind of survivor you are.
I get at least one person a week that says they connect with me because of that.
Right. Podcaster. I mean, that should tell everybody who's trying to sell you, I can get you on a podcast. Duh. I mean.
It's in my headline.
Right, exactly. And then, curious, read on. So that's, you have a call to action. There's so many good things happening in here. You've done an awesome job. The other thing I love about your profile, number one, your picture is amazing. You did a great job with that. Your new headshot is professional and looks awesome. Mine's old. I got to get a new one, but I'm waiting until I get down to my new location.
You never change. We change our hairstyles, our hair colors, all these various things. And so we have to get new headshots.
Yeah, my headshot, I actually, I was a little heavier back then. I like when I was a little heavier just because I just looked meatier, But yours, you have that beautiful banner across the top that has your signature on it, which is your logo, Deb Creer. And then you have this graphic that shows connections. I mean, it's just showing people in connections, and it's blue and it's pretty, and it basically says exactly what you do. Hi, I'm Deb Creer, I'm Deb Creer, and I'm a connector. And you even say that in there, I'm an unabashed connector. So it really gives an example. So one of the things you want to do is you want to use that space to grab people's attention. But number two, to embellish what you put in that headline, right? So for those of you who are online, I'm going to go to mine, right? And mine is, as soon as it comes up here, mine says marketing. Oh, now my video comes up and you can see my video, popping up there. But it says marketing and sales bridging the gap. And what I say, hey, B2B businesses, bridge the gap between your marketing and sales. Relationship marketing is what is working to spark sales growth with explosive content that powers your brand and drives your sales engine. I need to add read more like you did because you did such a good job. And then the other things that we want to talk about is what else is available at your fingertips here, okay? So we talked about the resources. One of the most underutilized things is this featured area. And the featured area, what you should put up there is you can have more than 3, but you want to put together the top 3 things. If you could get somebody to come to your profile and click on one of 3 things, what would the top 3 be, right? So one is that ebook. I want people to go to subscribe to my newsletter. That's the very first thing. Relationship marketing. I have, if you click on that, that's an article that I created. And then I have a link to Bridging the Gap on Vimeo. So I want somebody, if they want an introduction to me, they could do that. I could have a link to the podcast. I could have, like I say, create a separate video just for LinkedIn and put a link in there. That featured section, right, 3 is
all
perfect.
All designers know 3 is good.
Right. Everything always in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7, 9. I won't go any further than that. But you can put in more, but most people are never going to click a button. There's a rule in web design. It's like everything that's above the fold gets the most attention, right? So generally speaking, when you take this stuff away, and I go back to Deb, and I'm clicking there now, the featured, at least on my screen, is above the fold. It goes to Deb's overview, then highlights, then featured. So that's really huge. And then it goes to activity and then about. So now the about section, I think, is the next most important piece. Right. What do you think, Deb?
I think so too, because that is, to me, that's kind of your executive summary. And if you catch people's attention with these things enough that they go, ooh, I want to know more. That's your goal.
Right. And that's the opportunity to tell them the why and the how. Not so much the what, the why and the how.
Right.
You don't want to tell them what you do. I connect you up with 10,000. No, you want to tell them, why do I do this? I do this. My business is built around, I have one purpose and one purpose only, and I've got to rewrite mine as I go through the gyrations. I know,
it's always fun when we do these things. We look at them and go, oops.
Yeah, I need to update mine. But, in the case of it, what I want to say is, what I do, the why behind it is marketing. Marketing basically is the first phase of sales, right? And marketing takes you through the awareness, the education, and the sales conversations. And I hand it off to the salesperson, the sales team, the sales manager at that point. And it's up to the salespeople to actually make that connection, make the sale, and then retain the client, right? So what I need to say is the why behind what I do is I basically take people through the first part of your customer journey to get them to the point where they're going to have that sales conversation with your people. Right. And that's what I need to say. Okay, so now I've talked about, the why, right? Why would you want to talk to me? Well, that's why, because I'm basically going to get people to talk to your salespeople. The how is we do it through creating great content. We do it through optimizing, the messages that you're getting out there, getting it up on LinkedIn, and connecting your salespeople with your top prospects. And so we actually integrate all of this. So the ebook concept that I talked about, all of the things that we've been talking about, is all integrated into what I do for the clients. One of the things that I could say about myself, and I think this is true of anybody you hire, is if they're not doing it for themselves, if they're a marketing person, they're probably not believing in what they do, because that's what I do it for myself first. And then I see what works, and I go to the clients and say, I discovered this amazing thing. Now I've got a client who we've been doing this stuff for forever. And all of a sudden I said, okay, now in order for us to do a newsletter, we have to pick the one person in your company that has the most connections. And now we're going to share that to his profile, right? They've got another 10 salespeople. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one newsletter from that one profile, and I'm going to share it to the other 9 people. Right. So they're all going to share the same information, and hopefully it will create more subscriptions, which means that LinkedIn will email more people. And this is the last thing I want to talk about because we're just about darn out of time.
I know.
And
holy
that is
schmoly.
Amplification. And so this is the key thing that I think is uber important in your business. So whatever you're doing that's working, you need to find a way to get more people engaged in your business, meaning your customer service reps, your salespeople, it could be your receptionist, whatever. I've done this for legal firms. I've done it for bigger businesses with sales teams. But the key thing is the more people that share your content, it just amplifies your content. Now, let me give you a reason why. And these are not exact numbers because nobody will ever tell you the 11 herbs and spices from Colonel Sanders' chicken, and nobody ever tells you the true algorithms of what they do, and it changes daily. So if anybody tells you they know the algorithm,
learn it today, it's done tomorrow. So
it's gone, right? But I'm going to give you some basics, and the basics is, on average, the average person, this is why I focus on that 150 number. It's got so many different connotations, Dunbar's number, 10, 10, 10. But the key thing is when you post something about, if you have 1,000 people, about 150 people will see it on average, right? Out of all of those 1,000. In Facebook, if you put it up on a business page, if you have 1,000 people, 3 people will see it.
Right.
So you get a much better chance of having it there, right? But if you take that one piece of content and post it and get 150 people to see it, I consider that a win. But if you got a sales team of 9 other people on top of you doing the same thing, and you take that same content to each one of them, well, now you've gone out to 150 people times 10, meaning that same piece of content, that newsletter, that article, whatever you're putting up there, is now going to be seen by 1,500 people. And then you start breaking it down. 1,500 people see it, okay? 150 people might actually look at it. 15 people will take action, and 1.5 people will contact you, right? So out of those 1,500 people, you're going to get 1.5 people per month or per week contacting a salesperson. That 1.5 person, depending on what your median, I always look at clients and I say, okay, their minimum sale would be $5,000. Their medium sale is $50,000. Their maximum sale is $500,000. If they get a median $5,000 sale that leads to every single week, right? That adds up. Then you get a median sale of $50,000 once a month, and then you get a big sale of $500,000 every quarter. Take all that and add it together. Now, is working on LinkedIn worth it? You tell me, Deb.
Right. And I was sitting here thinking, okay, so we've got all these solopreneurs who are out there going, but I don't have a team. Sure you do. You have a team of your tribe. Maybe it's people you're in a mastermind with. Maybe it's people that you play softball with. I mean, whatever. As long as they are on LinkedIn, talk to them about sharing content. Right. When Brian posts, I share it. And all of these various things. So you can build your own team, even if you are a solopreneur. And it is about the whole thing is about amplification. The more people that see your content, that is good content, because it's what they want to see, not what you just want to write about. The more likely it is that you're going to get, let's see, where's my visual aid? Here we go.
Yep. And you know what I have to say to that, Deb?
That was easy.
See, we love our toys. We love our toys.
That's right.
Well, oh my gosh, Brian, I still have 3 things on our list that we didn't even talk about.
And that's okay. Give that to somebody else who comes on, or have me back after the end of the month.
True.
But
this is true.
But the bottom line is, I think we kind of summarize the concept of value for everybody. And I think I hope that your audience finds that this was a valuable time, that they follow along your entire month of experts that come in, because you know what? Not everybody is right for everybody, and this may not work for everybody. And you may find a solopreneur technique out of one of those other people that might resonate with you. Some of the people with the bigger companies may find what I talk about resonates with them. That's okay. That's the whole point of listening to every single one of these episodes.
Yep.
You agree, Deb?
Definitely. And I love that every single time I learn something new. And that's to me is what's so fun about this is, we all have our own tips, techniques, ninja things that we're doing. And, and you take what works for you. That's the key is, you might be going, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I don't have anything to put into a newsletter.
Right.
Okay. Then don't do a newsletter, but keep it in the back of your head, because you might, and so do that. But so, okay, we've only got a couple minutes left.
I know. That's why I was shh. Hey, listen. I want to talk to you, Deb. I don't want to talk to your audience right now.
Okay.
This is the little secret that most people don't understand. Okay,
trick.
This is us, right? This is our ninja. The bottom line is, by you and me talking today, we're learning from each other. And this is one of the reasons why we do these podcasts and we do these video interviews, because we do 2 things. Number 1, we meet really, really cool people. And number 2, we learn things from each other all the time. Like, for example, you taught me, I want to leave one last ninja trick, and it's yours. And it is about an away message. So why don't you tell them about your ninja trick that you taught me?
Okay. Quick, fast ninja trick who I actually got from someone else. And it is an out of office notification. So, it is, now you do have to be a paid LinkedIn person. So you have to have one of their premium services. And it only goes to your connections. Now, I'm not sure if it goes to InMail. Might go to InMail folks too. But it's just like your Outlook type of out of office message. You set it for a certain period of time. Somebody connects, sends you some type of message on LinkedIn, and they get this out of office. Hey, I'm out of the office until Friday, and the person who showed it to me also, what they showed me was in he put, in the meantime, here's a great article I'd like you to read. Mm-hmm. So that was a great thing. It had nothing to do with what he does for business. It was just a great article. And so it's really easy to do it. You go into your messaging program on LinkedIn. You will see that it's, it says messaging, and then you've got the 3 little dots. Click the 3 little dots, and it says set away message. So you can go in. Now, remember, now you might want to keep, I was thinking about putting it on for all time. So, it's just, kind of a rapid response that goes to people. Maybe it says, I respond within 24 hours or something like that. But it's a great little tip so that if someone sends you a message, it's not just getting crickets.
Right. Yay!
Oh,
good
cool.
ninja trick.
Yay! Okay, how do people find and connect with you?
The easiest way to do that is go to Linktree. It's linktr.ee. Linktree, okay, with the dot for the EE, /Bacon Guy. And from there, you can connect with me on everything.
Cool. I just wrote that down so that I can put it in our show notes. And of course, in the show notes, I will have your LinkedIn profile so that people
Thank you very much.
You there. Do you have any final ninja tricks that you want to share with everyone?
Just listen to the rest of this series, because every time Deb drops some sizzling hot bacon knowledge bombs on people, because she interviews so many great people, a lot of them I know, and I respect them all, and they're really great people. So this is the month. If you want to spend time listening to a podcast over and over and over, this is the month to do it. That's my ninja trick.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, and I'm so glad that we had you on as the first guest to set up our ninja tricks for LinkedIn. Well, I am Deb Creer. I have been having the most wonderful discussion with Brian Basilico. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.